That's a
and you
big
put a sleeve.
But that'll be better.
When there's a post that's compatible with that, you can lock them. So you can put them in there and then you remove them.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's time to start the Fire District Board meeting of November 18th. Would you join me in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you call the roll, please?
Peckham?
Yes, here, sorry.
Fox?
Here.
Purslane?
Here.
Holland?
Here.
North?
Here.
And Aldrich and Phelps are absent with reason. So moving on, could you please remember to turn off your cell phones and don't text during the meeting, as it's against the Open Meetings Act. Could we have an approval of the agenda, please?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda of November 18th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Pullen and a second by Fox to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Could we have approval of the minutes of the September 16th closed session? You all saw them before the meeting. Could I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the closed session on September 16.
One second.
I have a motion by Beckman, a second by North. Is there any discussion? Of course not. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Could we have a motion to approve the regular meeting of October 21st?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from the meeting on October 21st, 2024.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Fox and a second by Beckman to approve the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of October 21st. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Can I have a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of November 11th, 2024?
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting of November 11th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Pullen, second by Fox, to approve the minutes of the November 11th, 2024 special meeting. Is there any discussion?
I have a discussion, or a question, just a procedure. I wasn't there. Am I supposed to vote on that?
I think you can, you just can't make a motion on it.
Okay.
I believe
I don't
it.
think you can approve minutes that.
I wasn't there.
That's I think
It's
you
more of
can.
a procedure thing that I'm kind
Right.
of wondering.
If you weren't there, I don't know how you could possibly approve the minutes.
Exactly, well,
Because you weren't there.
exactly.
No, but you could read them.
I think according to Robert's rules, you can.
Yeah, I think so,
can?
you just can't make a motion on it.
Or whatever.
I'll just keep my mouth shut. You'll never know the difference.
I guess
We've already made a motion.
kind of a ridiculous point. Anyway, let's,
Yeah.
there's no discussion. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Do we have a request for payment of the financial report, or the accounts payable?
I'll make a motion to, since Scott's not here, to approve the accounts payable over $159.90
Second.
I have a motion by Beckman and a second by Fox to approve, oops, we need a roll call vote for this. Oh, is there any discussion first? I'm sorry, Peter's not gonna be here today, so
Okay.
I'm not sure we could answer your questions if they had any, but okay, could we have a roll call vote?
Beckman?
Yes.
Fox?
Yes.
Purslane?
Yes.
Holland?
Yes.
North?
Yes.
Okay, and there won't be any financial report today. Moving on to item 9. Fire chief, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. reduced the amount of things that we wanted to share with you, to preserve the amount of time for, the collective bargaining agreement, so I'll be brief with this. Incident reports, what you'd like to know to report to your respective jurisdictions is, you're up 19%. There are copies on each table. So you're up 19%. Also, kind of historic, we are at 1,025 incidents. We broke the all-time record of 1,023 incidents in 2022. So 2022 was a historic year. Now you have another historic year, and we still have a portion of November and December to do. So certainly that reflects the call volume that we are addressing. Secondly, 32% of our calls are overlapping. It's always good to know. Pretty typical, between 32 to 44%. Next up is motor vehicle incidents, known as MVIs, on page 1. 56 to date versus 49 from last year. Also notable, can you please go to page 7? On the right-hand side, you will see some percentages. I think the board should pat themselves on the back. I think this is a great example of teamwork between the board and the fire district staff. If you look at the right-hand side, I think you might appreciate the fact that we have reduced in Douglas response time by 39%. I'm not quite sure who would be capable of doing that other than the district and life, but that's the reality. 15% Saugatuck North, Saugatuck South, 15%, Township North, 9%. So that is pretty, in my opinion, pretty important to know when you evaluate the end of December. Are you going to continue the contract with Life? Are you can continue the contract if they apply a surcharge? But this will help you. Also, right below that, you will see a comparison, a bar chart that shows, obviously, we're less of a response time, less of a waiting time. That's what's important. How long do we have to wait on scene? For example, in Douglas, how long do we have to wait on scene before ALS gets there? Well, it used to be 12 minutes, 37 seconds. It's now 7 minutes, 42 seconds. That is what I think you want to take back to your jurisdictions. No questions on that? Next up, I want you, please go to 33. This is, Eric's not here today. These are things that Eric and I worked on over the weekend. The one you just saw, here's another one. You can see on the drone responses, we added a category, surveillance. Never thought we'd be adding that in there. But since we've had surveillance requests by the Secret Service, I decided to create a category on there. You will see more surveillance. One of those was for Halloween. That was Chief Kent's request. We honored that. Of course, we didn't want to turn down the Secret Service because they know where I live. So that is a new one we wanted you to know about. Eric actually is the one who probably inspired me to create categories for data charting, beginning with the boats. So please don't think of any more categories. Next up, jump to cost recovery, and if you could pull up that year-to-date that I shared with you, Wendy. Really happy to share with you, we got another $4,437 from a gas leak that was hit by a contractor, one who actually installed it. And then also in cost recovery filings, you'll see year-to-date, you'll see $31,556 collected, which I think is pretty substantial. And we're not done yet. We've got another big one today. We had a semi-fire on the highway, you'll read about in the paper. It was a very costly call. Just mutual aid was $2,300. So we were out there 3.5 hours.
Today?
No, no. When was that?
Last Tuesday or Wednesday at like 6 something in the morning, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've lost track of the days because it's boom, 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 boom.
Might have been Thursday, I don't know.
So that one was a fire that started from the tires that licked up or extended up into the fiberglass shell of the semi-truck, that the crew stopped it in time. So it didn't get to the all wood that we had inside of that. But then they burned up 5 tires. So all those had to be changed on the highway.
Greg, do we have a hit rate percentage? Have you ever looked at that from 22, or when we started cost recovery? Like what our percentage is? I mean, we're doing pretty darn good there.
Yeah, right. It used to be in the 50%,
Yeah.
but we're up higher now. I can
I mean,
actually
that's, I
revise
can
that.
do the math real
It's-
quick
yeah.
there, but
I mean, here you got 31,000 out of 45,000.
pretty
right
good
there.
hit. And we're not done.
That's 60%.
So I think anything over 50% is pretty good.
Thank you.
As Kathy noted, your traffic management apparatus called a TMA, that's the truck out in front of the building that you authorized to have built a couple of months early. As I mentioned to Kathy before the meeting, we're gonna start training on it, a few select people when we have the time. It seems we get started on something and then we're dispatched and dragged away somewhere else. But we will work on that. I don't think they're gonna start working on the lights until the middle of December. And that'll be done locally. Actually, it'll be done in our station by Telrad. They offered to install the lighting, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, for nothing,
Correct.
to establish a relationship. And in the budget, we had all the lighting in the budget. So then the radio goes in, and then it gets lettered by Extreme Auto. I also have 2 names put on there for the 2 donors. So that's what's on the horizon. And that concludes my chief comments, Jane.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, we have first up, the collective bargaining agreement with Local 5291. Mike, do you want to give us kind of an overview? Mike is
Yes, ma'am.
union president, and what you come up with, Mike?
Well, come up with some good stuff, actually. And we'll start with, the discussions were great. I appreciate Chief Jennings' time, Dan Fox's time, Jane's time. I think we came up with a pretty good solution to all the subjects that you see in your packet. So with that, I mean, the first one under you had the synopsis of the changes. We've already settled that with the healthcare during that special meeting. But with that, I guess, is there any questions? Does anybody have anything that jumped out at them that I could explain, or I could go?
How are you doing with it? Is it in, is it?
The insurance?
Yes.
Yes, it's been approved, and some of the guys even got their cards already.
Okay, so it's been completed?
Yes, it was all completed. We had all the staff's paperwork completed the day of the special meeting.
Okay.
So it was turned in that following morning.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Glad to
so-
see you guys being efficient.
Yeah, no, that's all been, it sounds like it's a done deal. I think we got cards in the mail before we got the approval,
Okay.
so.
Good. Good, I hope you're happy with that.
Yeah, well, yes, we are.
Good. So, is there any, are you done, Mike?
I can't, I didn't know if you want me to go through line by line. I figured I'd ask.
No, we'll see if there's any questions.
Any questions? Sure.
Greg, do you have anything you want to say about it?
I do.
Just 1 second, please.
Oh,
Dan?
Oh, no, I was there for.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Questions?
Yes. Sort of an overall question, is there anything in here that you really didn't want in here but had to say compromise on both sides? And is there anything that is not in here that both sides feel it should be in here?
All right, no, I don't think so. I think this is, it was, like I said, you know, good conversation on both sides of the table. And our approach was, you know, to be respectful to the district, because this is our job, right? We're not, and we went through with all our members, line by line, and, you know, it was unanimous for all of our members as well. Now, I will say with that, is there anything that I want in here? Sure, but this is our second contract. And you could talk about this, and talk about this, and talk about, right? And we'll continue to grow respectfully to the district as it goes on. I mean, you know, you could just keep adding stuff all the time, right? But
That's what I need to know, thank you.
yeah,
It had to be kind of weird to kind of negotiate against or for yourself.
yeah,
I mean, we aren't a profitable,
right,
we're nonprofit, you know, it's not like you're working at Chrysler and
yeah.
they're making buku bucks and you're sitting there going, you know, how come we're not making more, so.
We're not dock workers.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, you know, what your time and effort you put in this and being reasonable.
Well, and I appreciate that. I mean, I know one of the things I said to Chief multiple times was, I'm not gonna price myself out of a job or the other guys either. You know, we're conscious of that, and we're looking for the best thing for us and the district as a whole.
And that was very much the flavor of the, or whatever it was, 3-4 discussions we had as a group, very much.
I think
Yeah.
probably one of the best things in the contract was the beginning pay for a firefighter. We upped
Yeah.
that by a pretty good margin, just to stay competitive in the market. And also the insurance
The insurance is
was to keep
big.
us competitive in the marketplace. And we'd like to keep our firefighters here, so.
Yeah, it's important that you pay the employee well and that you give them decent benefits, and I'm thinking that's the way everybody feels.
Yeah,
Keep
and that was a
good
discussion
employees.
for us too, as well as looking at, reminding the staff to look at, not just look at the hourly wage, to look at the insurance and everything, everything that we're afforded is as a package.
And that keeps employees. Turnover in this kind of business would be very difficult, I would think, every turnover.
I was gonna say, in addition to the base increase, my read is that insurance plan
Yeah.
is a great leap forward. I mean, they're truly a great leap forward.
No, those are good points. Yeah, those, I guess the two biggest things is the insurance and then the starting firefighter wage. And some of that was, again, that learning curve from the first one that we're trying to correct.
Yeah.
And keep going, but, and stay competitive too.
The one thing we did put in, union contract was, the insurance is a limited reopening provision, in that they can reopen that every year to stay competitive insurance-wise. And so that's what you call that. That's just one part of the contract we can look at every year. The rest of it is a 3-year contract.
That we'll have to add that language in there, just so, you know, because if, you know, they come back next spring or in the summer with the insurance companies raising their prices, then we have to come back to the table and talk about it. So I appreciate that language, that answers that question.
And I'm not sure if we need to put in a time limit on that. Your insurance changes sometime, the end of September or the beginning of October. That's when those insurance changes come in. So I don't know if we want to put a time on this, or if we want to just leave it like it is and just say it can only be reopened once a year.
Right.
So, I did a little due diligence this morning, and I called our attorney to see what we should do next. And if we want our attorney to read this over to make sure the language is good and everything in it is legal, we can do that. We can pass it without doing that. That's up to you. If we want a review by our attorney, he'll do a quick read and have it back to us by the end of the week, or we can just go ahead now and do whatever you want to do. I just checked with the attorney.
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is, I don't like to do stuff without having the attorneys look at it first.
I would agree.
I think it's
I
just,
agree totally.
it's not gonna be a page by page, oh my God, look at this, look at that, do this, do that. I just would like to make sure that this is
But I
a
think
good
that's to the
contract.
benefit of both the
Right.
Oh, I do
the
too.
bargaining
Definitely.
unit and the board.
And the bargaining unit can do the same with their attorney if they choose to do that. So I guess this is the point that we're at in this discussion, is what the board prefers to do with that.
So it'd be possible to sort of provisionally,
We could have a special meeting, the end of this week or on Monday.
or
Let's
should we
approve
include
it,
it
subject
provisionally
to
approved,
attorney.
yeah.
And we could
subject
do
to,
that too.
Yeah.
No difficulty.
Pass it subject to, is that what you're saying?
Attorney review.
Yeah.
As long as there's no, whatever, significant issue outlined on either side, it's approved.
I'd like to see that language get added.
Sure.
That we talked
Yeah,
about.
we can do that and then get it to you. And our position too is if we're gonna send it to the attorney, is not to, I mean, my direction to the attorney is gonna be, tell me if there's anything illegal in here.
Right,
Right.
that's the important
Not
part.
that I'm missing a comma or, and I don't mean I,
Yeah.
the other guys, but.
Yeah, that's
you
the
know,
important part,
is-
yes.
Is that stuff. I don't believe so, because it's in addition to what we already had vetted before. We've added some language, so if there's any issues, it's gonna be in potentially that language, and that language was also, you know, derived from other contracts. It wasn't stuff that we necessarily made up, so.
I would rather be safe.
Absolutely, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think for benefit both sides.
Both sides. I mean,
Yeah,
CYA.
I think it's
And
yes.
this has been a great discussion. I think the discussions went very well. I think we were in agreement on most things. In fact, I think we were on most everything.
Even the stuff we came to,
We came
a
to-
great agreement
Yeah,
on
we
both, for
did.
both sides, so.
And I can see where Mike and Bernie put a great deal of time into this. Bernie, thank you for all your clerical work. And I'm sure that wasn't easy, getting that all put together in the time that you did. So thank you. So any other discussion?
So we're gonna table this then, or are we gonna make
No.
a motion?
Dan,
with-
why don't you make the motion? You were at the meeting, so I think it would be,
Motion would be to, accept, we've got a dated thing, Mike, is that, the contract, I can say as presented,
yeah.
because it's not dated for,
What are we gonna do about the dating? Because it's late.
The date still stays, it's July 1st,
July 1st, yeah.
Okay, all right.
wait a second, so,
Okay, sorry.
motion is to accept the collective bargaining agreement, as presented today in the form of this document,
Mhm.
conditional upon attorney review with no significant recommendations for changes on the part of both parties.
Okay, I'll
The
second
word,
that.
the word significant is pretty vague.
Well, it is.
In lawyer speak, trust me.
Well,
What are you thinking about other than like grammatical or commas or?
or
anything
form,
in general?
you know, lawyers love to, I mean, they like to spend hours.
Lie.
How about if pending any legal concerns, would that be appropriate?
Pending legal review.
Yeah, that's probably a better way.
Put
It's just
together.
That's fine, sure.
Because then that's, if there's any condition changes, that's
Yeah.
between us,
Yeah,
and then we don't get them involved again.
Right.
So,
Sure.
get their meter running again.
Okay, Chris, what do you have?
Motion by Fox, second by Pullen, to approve the collective bargaining agreement with Saugus Career Professional Firefighters, for July 1st, 2024 through June 27th, June 2027, as presented, conditional upon attorney review.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Good with that?
Or attorney or just legal review it by attorneys or whatever, just to help keep it be major stuff, not minor stuff.
Yeah,
That's,
well-
that's to put district legal review as opposed to
Well,
the union legal review. It's our legal that's doing this.
Right, for you,
But,
yeah.
And
but
you
is
do
your,
your own.
We will as well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
our position is more like.
General legal review, so
Yeah.
it covers both of us.
right, everybody's gonna review it.
The drawback may be our turnaround time.
Okay.
I don't know what that will be, but I will do my best to make it as expedient as possible.
Okay.
Well, we were
I mean,
basically
we
approved.
aren't putting a deadline on this.
Right.
Just, as soon as the reviews are done, then we'll sign.
So there's no need for a special meeting then unless
No.
there's
No, because it's
something
been-
more to discuss or something, then we can just, probably same committee, the three of you, and we'll figure out a solution to if they find something, is that?
Okay, is everybody good with this now?
Yeah, we're sending off to insuring tomorrow,
Yes.
and as soon as he gets it back, without any problem, I mean, we basically passed this anyway, so, unless there's a major problem with it.
So I'll work with Captain Bernhardt in the morning to add the limited reopening provision language,
Okay.
and then get you and Dan and Chief a copy of that.
Okay, and then you and Bernie are gonna send them to the two attorneys?
We'll send it to ours, I don't know that it's our place to send it to yours.
They shouldn't be sending it to ours.
Okay,
no,
I'll
no.
send it to
Yeah.
them.
But
All right.
We'll narrow down that, get that added in there appropriately where we all best think it should be,
Okay.
and give you a copy of
All
it
right,
that you
and I will send
can
it to you.
disperse.
And I want the yellow line copy and a clean copy.
Yellow line and a clean?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Potts,
Yes.
Holland,
Yes,
Beckman,
Yes.
Pursline,
Yes?
North.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Well, I'll just leave it.
congratulations.
On behalf of
Thank
the
you.
local, thank you to everyone at the board for your time putting into this. Thank you.
Thanks for what you guys do every day.
All right, moving on, let's get to this engine. Item B, engine 2112, pending inspection and offer.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just wanted to bring this to the board. Originally, we had a disposal policy which is required to sell the engine, and there was some feelings on let's not sell it, which we completely respect. We did not retract the marketing of the truck, and because of the year end, I'm projecting because of the year ends, we had a number of people interested. We turned down a solid offer, but it wasn't there. It was about $195. The engine's listed for $229. We lowered it from $250 to $229. Nothing happened, then all of a sudden, 3 to 4 interested parties. Chris is listed as the contact person. He had a firm offer of $229. They've been corresponding, and they wanted to fly out and look at it. We didn't want them to fly out until I get board approval. I had to wait for the meeting, so we asked them if they would wait for a decision. So it's up to you. If the board is comfortable keeping the engine, that's good. We'll just delist it, and we'll be done with it. I will never bring it to you again.
what are you comfortable with?
I can go either way, because I have a lot of opinions. And I feel we have, engines, but it's great with training. We are a very active training department, so it's nice to have an engine that we don't have to disconnect everything. We run to this building and we do our training. Yes, are we tight for room? We kind of knew that. The Teammate is larger once you get it. It will only fit in certain bays. It will only fit in the back. So, looking at it, pros and cons, it's smaller, it doesn't owe you anything, it's very maneuverable. It's another engine that you probably couldn't replace for less than $400,000 used. It's a good value, so there's a lot of merit either way. You know, I could see it either way. I sensed the pulse of the board was, why don't we just keep it? I'm okay with that. You don't really whine or complain about the cost of keeping the thing up, but it's very hard when you have all these different opinions on the truck. So my job is to bring it to you, your job is to decide what you want to do.
So
Your job is to tell us what you need. And
Yeah,
that's, I've
that's
told
what
you
I'm
that
asking,
for
what do you need? Yeah.
16 years.
Mhm.
You're the CEO, well, you make the decisions. Now, I wouldn't mind knowing what the group would like.
Mhm.
I mean, we gotta look at this at, if we get rid of this thing, are we gonna live without it? Well, then we save money. If we're replacing it, then it's a new ballgame.
Mhm.
'Cause like you said, 400,000 used. If we're thinking about getting rid of this thing, that kind of leads me to think that we're not using it right, or we don't need it. You guys tell me, I'm just
Yeah, that's.
Well,
yeah.
before,
board member.
before they respond, okay, let me share this with you. We had a new engine built.
Right.
That was a replaced 2111. Well, then I had a number of guys say, well, don't get rid of 2111, get rid of 2112. Then I have another group that says keep 2112. I have board members that say keep 2112. They don't even operate it, so I'm really confused. So, that's why there's one guy that makes the decision about the trucks. But disposal policy gives you that authority, so it's very, very difficult to sense on when I have this up and down, back and forth on the truck. But 2110 was built, and I felt we were a bit apparatus heavy, but I recognize the fact that there are some people that like the truck, it doesn't owe you anything. We can lose an engine in any truck, the fact that it's this or that, we can lose an engine or a trans in any truck. So that's what I've been kind of volleying back and forth on, is you know, we have limited room, but we have limited room in that dorm room. So we can make it work. But then go ask these guys, because I just want to get that out. We got to take into consideration, we have 4 engines. All due respect, there are 4 engines. And it is nice because we have a very diverse response, you know. Look at the boat, Marine Division, the drone division, the road crew division. And some of our driveways are so small, some of those engines are tough to get in.
I guess my question
You know.
is, do we have a lot of overlap with that one and the, you guys throw out numbers like
Yeah, sorry.
alphabet soup, but, what I'm thinking is there something that we could replace this with that would be more beneficial to you?
The
Like
only-
a smaller, I know we bought a smaller engine once, and that was
Right. The big advantage to this engine we're talking about selling, I'll forget the number, sorry, to KME, is the size is great, and the fact that it's four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive.
Being a big believer in four-wheel drive, I think it's taken for granted. But I do think that this truck is shorter in profile. If you came to me and said, what would you replace this with? It wouldn't be a mini pumper, it would be a mid-size pumper. It would be
Between those two?
Yeah, right. I don't want to support that, because it's gonna cost you $800,000 or $900,000. I don't want to do that. I'd rather get a secondary ambulance. 2173, your EMS vehicle is due to be replaced, overdue to be replaced. That is one reason I thought, you know, I'm on the fence with this too, and I mean it respectfully. I get a lot of, you know, but I have to sift through all these wants and needs and preferences. Oh, I like this truck. Oh, I just heard the other day for the first time, 2111's a piece of junk. That's interesting. Same builder built the new one. So, I'm really perplexed. However, it's easy for me. I can keep the truck and we're fine.
Is it the only four-wheel drive?
It is. And then I have some, well, we don't need four-wheel drive anymore. That's why we bought it. And now, you know, I have a lot of departments that they wouldn't have an ambulance without four-wheel drive.
You don't need four-wheel drive until you need four-wheel drive.
Exactly.
So it's that those trucks were more commonplace in California for wildfire. It's great for us because they're small driveways. We rip a door off, it's not like a brand-new truck. We haven't yet to do that. There's also an air system on it, what's called a cascade system, where we can charge air cylinders. We don't use it that much, but we don't use the aerial that much. Fire service is what-ifs. Kind of like fire hydrants, what-ifs. So you look at it and you go, not an easy decision, but really the only reason is, well, okay, we could bank the money to replace, you know, one of the EMS vehicles. And then the other thing is, it's tight. Make no mistakes. But because we can't get the TMA truck in only one or two truck bays, washing the stuff gets to be a challenge. Say, for example, the new EMS truck we got, okay, 2161, the big box truck. We can't even wash that where it's at, because you get the turnout gear all wet. We're working on a curtain for that. But we have to move trucks around. Not the end of the world. The aerial can only go into the bay to the south, which we had enlarged. So those are things that you look at and go, okay, but the reality is the truck doesn't owe you anything. It just was a thought. I just wanted to bring it to you since we had such a firm offer. Otherwise, I wouldn't take the board's time on it. And I just want to make sure, because I can go either way.
Okay. Selling it, we get money out, we bank the money, that's all. Keeping it, we have a whole list of things we can do in keeping it, so my opinion is we keep it.
I guess I'm trying to remember why we even talked about getting rid of it in the first place.
I think because we were building 2110, and we decided we want a bigger
Fair
truck
enough.
with more water. The thing is, our strategies can easily be modified in that I'll keep it simple. That truck that we're talking about selling, the KME, can be used as a manifold. Initial attack, 650 gallons of water, and then we marry it with a hose, and we supply water. It gets chased with a tanker. So we have some options there, particularly when we can't load all these trucks into the driveways because we don't have water in, 65% of the area. So we've become accustomed to that, but the thought of 650 gallons of water on an initial attack engine, you've got to know what you're doing. My crew does. So it can work, but originally the premise was, timing was the HME, that mini pumper, had to go. That was unanimous. Why? Overweight, underpowered, bad design. That KME took the position of that truck as a larger truck that we could not overload. So that it was a compromise. You can access driveways with it. It was just another engine. So we kind of talked about, we're willing to give up one if we could build a new one. I think that's how we got on that path. Does that make sense?
Greg, you ever, I've seen some of these numbers, look at some sort of utilization report where you look at how many incidents each of the pieces of equipment are used
We had that.
against, and I don't think it'd make the decision for you, but
We have that, we have cost per mile. Like the aerial might be $49 per mile. The other trucks are $12, $13. Yep, no one wants to talk about selling the aerial. Those are what the challenges that your chief faces with a lot of personalities and a lot of I want this, I want that, and that's what's hard to sift through for me.
Is there any, since you brought up the aerial, whatever, is there any, I don't know, whether it's, and maybe you don't want this, I could see that side of it, any like countywide or other agency that looks at the whole area and says, you know, and what I'm thinking of is Grass Gap. And I don't know what they've got, but they're within a very reasonable distance of most of our service area. That's why we're mutual aid. But when it comes to equipment, I just wonder whether anybody looks at it and says, because I think Grass Gap has a aerial or something, aerial platform truck, and I'm going, and those, I know those are seriously expensive. Could one be enough for these two areas, given how many times we employ the one we've got now?
Sadly, I would say, I'm the only one.
That looks at things that way?
Yeah. Why do we have to have 4 aerials in 15 square miles? We've had one since before I joined the department. So Saugatuck has always had that for this downtown business district. And when the Sutphen 65-footer kind of, people lost confidence in it, then we went to the big one with a long reach, which is a great truck. Just hard to get into a single-family dwelling, which most of our fires are. However, irreplaceable on a commercial fire. Just doesn't go out as much. However, it's that handicap that you have that you keep around because for $200,000 it doesn't owe you anything. To replace that aerial is probably $1.4 million. So Grasscup had an aerial, but then Lee added one on, and then Fenville added one on. And my position was, when I wanted to get rid of 2 engines and build a new aerial, I approached 2 fire departments, Hamilton and Grasscup. Why don't we go in each $400,000 and buy an aerial? I got laughed at. It won't work. Remember, my basis and one reason you have me here is collaborative resourcing. But apparently I think differently. I was a businessman before I was a chief.
I grew up in a town that burnt down. The entire downtown burnt down in about 3 hours time.
Oh, that's awful.
And it's
Like Gone with
because
the Wind.
That's exactly what happened. It was like a tinderbox, and it took out the entire downtown.
Oh, dear.
And so, that wasn't that long ago. That was maybe 15 years ago.
Well, Opal's burnt down almost on one side of the road.
I didn't know that.
That wasn't that long ago. Not the whole town, but just like that, it got a block.
Half of it went.
Oh, no,
Yeah, you
that's
know.
right across the street from the fire department too. I mean, it's not like,
So, do you wanna hear from firefighters and how they feel about it?
Yeah, I think you should.
I do.
This is just a small portion, they don't represent the whole fire department.
I guess I always look at something like this as, you know, what are we gonna replace it with? How much is that gonna cost us? And it is gonna be a benefit to us.
It wouldn't be
Or-
replaced.
how
So
much
it'd just
life
be
does
money
it
in the
have?
pocket.
I'm sorry?
How much life does it have in it?
Oh, I think plenty. Yeah. You know, like I say, if you lose an engine, you know, mag force, you know, 50 grand, you put a new engine in. Not the end of the world. Trans is probably 30,000.
And when you think of how the equipment is used, in the aggregate, you put more miles on your car in a year than most of this equipment.
Right.
uses.
That has on that period.
Yeah.
Like I think some of the tankers from 2005 have 5,000 miles on them.
Yeah.
And we had those built, so you can keep them up. So again, I just thought I should bring it to you, that's all, because we had this offer, and Chris and I said, let's put the brakes on this and get the board, and I'm not trying to talk you into either one. I honestly was asking your opinion. You know, I can tell you right now, Mike can speak for himself, Mike likes 2112, he always has, and he's got a dozen reasons why. Then I can talk to Chris Manos and a dozen reasons why not to keep it. So, you know, one of my jobs is to try to give my crew, because they're in there, give them everything they need. And I feel I've done that.
It sounds like valid pros and cons on both sides.
There are,
Yes.
there are.
I think there's more
You know,
cons.
and it's not my money, and it's not, you know, and that's why I would, you know, if you're on the fence on it, I would keep it.
I'm more on the civic.
You know, because I don't wanna go, because of the price of the engines, I don't wanna buy another one. There's other stuff that we need, like
Right.
a secondary EMS truck. To me, I have to look at budget prioritization 5 to 6 times a year. Needs change. The TMA was what you experienced at. Guys were on the highway, I got more risk on the highway than any fire. I got $5 million in fire apparatus and 50 grand in traffic incident management. That's easy for me. We are heavy, like you have a portfolio, you're too heavy in stocks, you're too heavy in land. We're heavy on assets of engines. However, we are the second largest fire department in Alton County. And you have a commercial that, say, Grasscup doesn't have, Hamilton doesn't have. And then you also have little driveways that were built 100 years ago. So you could easily justify either way, but I don't have, honestly, I would, no visions, I don't want to buy another engine. I don't want to buy another aerial, I want to keep that stuff going, even though it's getting older, like the aerial's a 98. But I'd have to say, and I think your budget's going to be able to afford, it's been in the capital improvement plan, an EMS vehicle. I don't think you have to worry about that. And then if you want to talk to these staff, ask them.
Well-
Ask them, please.
We can do that, or,
I would like to hear it. I mean, we don't have to sit here all night and talk about it, but this is, in my opinion, I'm driving a 2014 Ford with 108,000 miles, doesn't owe me anything, and I'm gonna drive that SOB until the wheels come off. And then I'll go get a new car. And that's kind of what I feel with this thing, but maybe we sit on it, and in 1 year, are we gonna lose how much value to that thing in a year if we decide to do something different? 20,000? So we sell it at 205 or 214 or whatever. But I don't drive it, guys. I'm just trying to watch the dollars here.
Right.
I'd truthfully be on the fence too. I mean, we are apparatus heavy. We could use the pay space by getting rid of a truck, but at the same time, we're never gonna replace that truck for $229. It would cost $1 million to buy another one if you got the exact same thing. So, yeah, I could go either way as well, but.
You could conjure your way into anything.
Right. and
That's why I asked the question about all-wheel drive. I mean, we get 60 inches of snow overnight, and there's a fire off of the main road in the township and at somebody's house. You want that truck, right? I mean, you want a truck that'll go through 16 inches of unplowed snow and not be all over the place. You know, is that a 1% chance, a 5% chance, or whatever? And then I go to the extreme of, but if it did happen and you didn't have it,
yeah.
imagine the, commercial record or the stupid Facebook crap or, social media going, well, they sold the one truck that could have saved my kid or my wife or my girlfriend or my girlfriend's girlfriend. I don't know.
So, there's another way of looking at this that I'm kind of looking at. We need to expand the stations, and that financing for that is not gonna be easy. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna be a real circus, because we've got to get all 3 municipalities headed in the right direction and behind this call. And playing devil's advocate, what if in the middle of all of that, we have to replace a truck? That won't bode well for us.
Yep.
I think we have my personal opinion, and you taught me everything I know about trucks, sorry.
Feel sorry for you.
We have a good, strong fleet, and we should keep it, because If one of those trucks gives out in the middle of trying to get millage and bonding and, or God knows whatever we're gonna have to get to expand this station, we don't wanna have to say, oh, wait a minute, we need another million for a new truck. I think we're in a very good financial position right now, and that 200,000 you're gonna get for that truck won't mean anything.
That's
I'm also
basically what
hearing
I was saying.
something that was said a few times about space. Isn't there something shouldn't we be looking at different options as far as maybe not here, but somewhere else for
I
space?
have a great suggestion.
I bet you do.
Yeah, I know.
And maybe that is a good suggestion.
I know where there's some land and,
So, I think financially, it's a good move to keep it. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how
To
you
keep
guys
it.
use trucks. I think we should keep the truck.
Yes, that's
There's
what
a
I
lot
said
of-
earlier.
lot of
too,
merit
you
to that,
should.
you
I
know.
think we need to present ourselves in being in a good financial position. When we go to the community and say, we need, I don't know what it costs to build a fire, or build onto this, $2-3 million?
But I think we should, when it comes time for that, I know you're looking, what is the company?
Carbon 6, who did the township, and I think,
Who's doing ours?
right,
Well-
we postponed meeting them, we were gonna do it, like the second week in December with a couple of the board members.
I would just say, I would hope that when we do that, we get a full look. We get a look at solving issues that are in front of us right now, dorm space and so forth. And we get a look that says, let's take, this community is, none of these communities, including the township, are what they were 15 years ago or 20 years ago in terms of building and population and all the rest of it. What, if we go, quote, world-class, what's that, we should look at that range. I'm not saying we should go there, because you can't tell until the money's on the table and all the rest of it. But I think we owe it to the jurisdictions to say, I'm partly motivated, I know it's completely out of reach by that frickin' brand-new fire station in Holland.
Oh, that's quite a station.
Oh, my goodness.
They have a huge population that we
I know,
don't
no,
have.
I know that,
So-
I'm just saying, but that's an investment for the future.
But another thought is optics. If we're cramped here, and I've thought about this occasionally, about what do they do in schools when they don't have enough room? They buy a portable. Maybe we should get a portable and put some office space in there and a boardroom. I mean, it's just a thought, but it shows the community, we need more space, we need a bigger building. And it could backfire, say, stay in your damn portable and that's too bad, or it could motivate people to move forward.
Now go look, you solved your problem, don't come back to us for $6 million.
Right, but we do need a new station, and we have to let people know that we need a new station. I mean, look at up here, my God, it's just full of stuff. We need room to grow, so,
I've always been with, when John Block wanted to put a building at the bus garage,
well, I think that'd be a perfect space.
which, he always wanted to do that in case something happened on the bridge, we have fire. What ifs, there's a lot of what ifs in your business, but I think that makes sense.
Well, the 2.5 acres by exit 36.
You talk about Holland's,
Sewer and water.
you talk about Holland's beautiful building on Waverly there, they're remodeling the one in Collins Park too. Well, they have two, and there's a reason. There's a lot of industry out by that Waverly building.
Well, they have a lot of money in Holland, we don't have that kind of
The one
money.
at Collin Park was out of service and sold to something else.
I thought they were remodeling it.
Remodeling. Remodeling.
Yeah, so my feeling is, and I know Kathy loves to hear that, but there is land over there that's probably available.
But then if we have.
We can make a deal right here if you'd like.
Yeah, but then yeah. I know-
She's got the
I know-
press release already.
A number of staff have brought that, because we're very void southeast, that's our furthest way, and we always wanted something south, and heck, I think Linus Starring was the first one who brought it to me probably 15 years ago, so it has been discussed, you know, and we kind of, we don't have the property, and we had actually hoped, you know, we could sneak in something in Douglas, but that just wasn't feasible.
We should have bought Cliff's building, right
Yeah.
across,
Who's
right across the street
Marina
from
Man?
the Marina Man.
Across from the side of the brewing.
Oh,
The
yeah,
two big
yeah,
bays
yeah.
there.
Yeah, okay.
That would have been perfect.
But if you have 2 fire departments, then that's that much more personnel that you need to man those 2 stations. I mean, it's, what's financially feasible? I mean, we have to look at this budget and
Are we getting off a
figure
little
out.
bit here?
No, we're not. We have to figure out how we're gonna do this, but I think being in a good financial position where we have all the trucks we need, we're ready, we need a new building. And I think this only exemplifies the fact that we need a new building, or a bigger building, not necessarily a new building. We could probably work with this and make it work, but
Leading up to that, if, I mean, I'm trying to put myself, I am, actually, it's easy to put myself in the shoes of the taxpayer. The first response is gonna be, of course you do. You know, and, you know, the schools always need a new school, and, you know, it's public money, blah, blah, blah. If we could have, or if we could somehow arrange to have some sort of, and maybe it's, I mean, they'd be accused of being biased, I suppose, as well, but I'm thinking of some I was saying, to say architects, but some third party that could look at the facility, you know, some emergency service experienced third party could say, you know.
Like an assessment.
Yeah,
Like-
so that,
and
so it's not
recommendations.
just us, so that you're
Right.
saying, these guys went and looked at it, and, you know, so you can say there's then you report to the jurisdictions on that study before you come at them with, here's the solution, or here's 4 solutions, or 3 solutions, or whatever. But I'm just afraid that the bias is always gonna be, you don't need it, you know, the trucks are all shiny,
Yeah.
you know, it's nice in the house I live in, that kind of crap. and-
Until something happens.
Until
Yeah,
something
until
happens.
something
Until
happens.
something happens, right.
okay, so let's get back to the truck. I'm not sure where we are with the truck.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, it seems
Then
like
I'll make a
proposal.
motion that we tabled it and keep the thing.
We keep it. No, don't table it.
Yeah.
Let's settle this.
Oh, yeah,
Do we
keep
need
it,
to
I'm
make a
sorry.
motion?
We'll take it off the market.
I'll make a motion to keep engine 2112.
All right, I'll second it.
Okay, a motion by Beckman, second by Pullen.
To keep the 20,
Any more discussion? Let's do a roll call vote.
doesn't need a roll
Beckman.
call.
Yes.
Pollen,
Yes,
Fox,
Yes.
Ruffling,
Yes.
North.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Where are we? New business.
Just wanted to respectfully ask, we had to put a placeholder on Ivy House right across the street over here, because they had an opening.
did you get that?
I'm sorry?
No.
No.
I shouldn't have interrupted you.
I must have missed it. So I've sent out an email to see, because I know some of you go to Florida, and that, Dan's going to DE. So,
Illinois.
but we had to put a placeholder in January because Ivy House, was very welcoming and wanted to give us a greatly reduced price. We just pay for the servers. We pay for the catering, we don't pay for the event center. And we had tentatively picked January 18th to get back on our schedule. But really, it's up, what does the board want us to do? Because we had it in March last year, and typically between January and March is when we do it. And we have a placeholder with them, we have to let them know so they can rent that if you don't want to do it in January.
Can I have my opinion? It's not about us.
Yep.
It's about them. And that's probably the slowest time of the year, knock on wood, around January. I know we have car accidents, but if we have to worry about everyone's schedule, when there, we'll never have a
Amen.
date.
Right.
So I say, if you have it written down, we go for it. Can't be there,
Good luck.
we want these guys there. That's who
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, do we need to make a motion?
No.
Thank you.
And there's no correspondence, any public comments out there? Public
Uh-oh.
No, I'll make it quick. Well, again, just on behalf of the local, thanks for all the conversations and the cooperatives. It's been great, and we'll push this thing through. And then my final thing is, thanks for keeping 2112.
Oh, so now it really comes out.
I didn't have to give you my spiel.
You owe me $10.
Well, I mean, Chief Janik, as always, in his open door policies, you know, he heard me out on Saturday. So, a lot of
I just
respect.
came here to get a Band-Aid or
I know,
something.
you came at the wrong time.
Don't come back with me, eh?
No, I won't bore you with my philosophies, but none of that, is it not without understanding, I mean, I understand, I tell Chief all the time, I got great ideas, but I know they cost money, so, I'm not,
Don't we all?
I'm not, you know, but.
I'm just glad to
Thank
get
you.
it, we can move on.
Okay, Eric?
No, thanks to the collective bargaining team and you guys. Sounded like it went real smooth, and thank you.
Real well.
And I'd underscore something you said earlier, that while it did seem like straying off course on capital improvements for the building, that we need to keep that in our minds and keep it in this meeting room so that it shows up in public, that this is not an idea that's gonna dawn on us, or light bulb's gonna go off, and we haven't considered it up to that point. It needs to be discussed, it really does.
And it needs to be kept in the forefront.
Yeah.
It's an important issue. Hey, Kathy?
Add my congratulations to both the bargaining team, and thanks to Jane and Dan for helping move it along from our end, and
It really was a pleasure.
yeah, I think it was.
It went
was
very
a-
well.
A good compromise.
It was real warm fuzzy.
True?
Same things Kathy's saying, I'm really proud of the way everybody handled this, and, you know, nice and quiet, and not arguing. I'm assuming you did that, I didn't hear that, but I don't think there was, and I'm really happy that this is the way it went.
There was no bloodshed. Maybe a little.
Like a clean divorce. No.
Oh, sure.
There is.
We've got some guys who know all about that.
It was an updated prenup.
That's what we got here.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yes,
tough.
we do. Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Go ahead, either way.
Okay, 5, so no, I think we ought to adjourn, so we'll adjourn. Thank you.